Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aman Singh, and in today's video I will be covering a new topic, DNS. And in my previous video I have already covered DHCP topic. You can go and watch that video. Okay, so let's start this video. So DNS stands for domain name server. Okay, so what it does? It does like it keeps the record of this domain and IP addresses. It works like a similar to your phone book. So in your phone book, hundred of contact lists are there, right? You have just saved the name and the respective number of that person. So now if I ask you if you remember more than 10 or 20 numbers, the answer will be no, right? It is not our job to remember all these phone numbers. Okay, so personals and some few of member I can by heart this number, but if I go and by heart all 100 IP numbers, it is not possible for me. Similarly, there are lakhs of websites, millions of websites on the internet, and I cannot go and remember each and every public IP addresses of that websites. The job for that remembering part is being done by DNS. So DNS is nothing but a server where all these records are present. Okay, which me, or anyone else do not need to remember. So what it does, it just translate the human readable domain name into an IP address. Okay, human readable domain name is this is easy to remember. But if I keep on remembering these IP addresses, I cannot remember more than one, more than two, more than three. So before discussing about the working, let's what is mean by authoritative DNS server. So we also call it as a ADNS. So the actual record of this domain and their IP address is kept in this ADNS servers. So that is written hold actual DNS record for a domain name. Okay, so there are like number of authoritative DNS servers which keeps this record. And what is meant by TTL? So TTL is nothing but time to live. So as per, let's read this. Define how long a DNS record is cached by a resolver or client machine before querying again. So this point is clearly we can go through in this how does the DNS work. So let's start. So if I consider this is a user and he's trying to reach to www.pingpacketlab.com. Okay. So what he does, it type this URL in his browser. Okay, so browser doesn't aware about this thing. Maybe browser could be anyone, Internet Explorer, Chrome, or Firefox. Okay, so browser also doesn't know these IP addresses. So what it does, it go and check in his cache. So if previously this URL might have been visited by the client, then this entry will be cached in the browser history. So this is consider this is a completely new and he's trying first time. So the browser is not aware about this URL and the respective IP addresses. So it just check in at his OS level. So there is also no such entry in the OS cache also. So what it does, it goes and check in the host entry whether any kind of host entry is created for this domain name. So in the host entry is nothing but a text file where we can keep the record of this domain and their IP address. We can keep this is like we have to manipulate that this domain name is resolving to certain public IP address, and I don't want that. Consider there are two locations, Singapore and Hong Kong, and this website www.pingpacketlab.com is when it is doing a DNS check, so it is resolving to Singapore IP address, and I don't want that it should go to the Singapore. So I can just manipulate the thing in the host file entry. I can put this domain and the public IP address of Hong Kong one. So whenever the client machine tries to access this www.pingpacketlab.com, then when it comes to host entry, it will check. Okay, so there is one entry, and it will go towards Hong Kong, not to Singapore one. Okay. So what if there is no host entry for this URL also? So then this query goes to resolver. Okay, so this is the resolver. Resolver are nothing but your ISP provider, whatever the ISP provider you may be having, they will be providing the DNS servers also, which they generally manage. Okay, so the resolver job is to check. So what it does, resolver also it checks on his history or in his cache if there is any uh, mapping already present on their site. So if it is the first time this URL is being checked, so resolver also don't know about this cache entries or this IP address. What it does, it sends a query on behalf of client to the root name server. Okay, so there are this is the root name server. This is hosted on internet anywhere. Root servers. Then these are nothing after that TLD name servers. Then authoritative DNS servers. Okay. So what it does. So if the resolver doesn't know the IP, it queries a root name server, which tells it where to find the top level domain server. So in short, if I say this is the fully qualified domain name, okay, www.pingpacketlab.com. So a fully qualified domain name is the computer complete domain name that specifies its exact location in the DNS hierarchy, including the host name, domain, and top level domain. So after this .com, there is again a dot which is not visible when we don't have to write it, but our browser consider it. So that dot is nothing but these root name servers. So there are around 13 root name servers. If you see A, B, C, D, E till M, we have 13 root servers. Okay, which take care of this, uh, which is the first point of contact in case the DNS comes of resolving a new domain or anything. So here, if you see there is a .com, it is a top level domain TLD. So in this scenario, I have the ping packet lab dot hosted in .com, or it can be in some country specific also .in, .uk, .us. So that is means it means that specific to country. Okay. So this resolver what it does, it checks on his cache. There is no such entry. It takes the query, sends the query to root name server. So there are 13 root name servers worldwide. So one of the root server may be having that entry. So what is that? Consider that H server is not knowing that this root server doesn't host this record. Okay, it just know where this record can be present. So where this .com, if someone has to some URL is ending with the .com, so it knows where it need to send. So the root name server like H will what it will do, it will send this query to top level domain server. So below to this, see this top level domain server. So there are like 13 root, you can say there are these are the 13 top level domain servers which have the entries of which doesn't know the complete where it can be find, but it can help us to find where this domain name can be present. Okay, so these are also like directed, these are not the actual server which are holding the record. They are just knowing where this can be find. So they are doing their job to send this query back to that respective server which is hosting this servers. So the resolver query went to root name server reply with the TLD server. So TLD server again the root resolver send the query to top level domain server. Then the top level domain server is sent back the server name or name server where it can find this domain and when it can find the record actual record. So at the end, so there are 8 DNS servers. So authoritative DNS server which we discussed. So there these are the servers where this record is actually present. So once this record is checked, then the reply packet it sends the resolver the IP address. Then the resolver cache this entry. So resolver cache this entry means you see here depend how long a DNS record is cached by a resolver or client machine before querying again. So time to live is the value where where it states like how long this query should be, how long this record should be cached in the entry, cached in the resolver side. So same TTL value sent to the resolve client browser also. So client browser then get the IP address and he is now able to access this website, or he is able to reach to the website. And what does the browser do? It also caches this entry. Okay. So yeah, so we have covered this what is mean by DNS and how does it work? What are the root name servers? What are the TLD servers? What are the job when a new DNS query has been sent by the client? So let's end this topic here. Thank you for watching everyone. Bye.